Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. Vox Agent is made by AI for business executives that work with AI. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty big shaking up the enterprise AI world. It's about Agentic AI, specifically Gartner Inc. put out a forecast, this was June 25th, 2025, saying over 40% of these Agentic AI projects, they'll be canceled by the end of 2027. Now, Agentic AI, if that sounds a bit, technical, just think of AI agents. They can autonomously complete goals, make decisions without needing a human constantly looking over their shoulder. So our mission today is to really unpack this prediction. We'll look at the evidence, both for and against it, and most importantly, figure out what this might mean for your business strategy, your AI investments.
Right. And Gartner's insights, well, they carry a lot of weight in the enterprise space. Their forecasts really do influence strategy. So a prediction like this, a 40% cancellation rate, that signals some major potential headwinds.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Over 40% of agentic AI projects canceled by 2027. That's a stark number. What's Gartner's thinking behind this? Why so high?
Well, Gartner's rationale, and analysts like Anushree Verma have pointed this out, it really comes down to three main things. You've got escalating costs, unclear business value, and inadequate risk controls. Basically, the tech is complex, it's new, and projects are hitting walls when they face, real-world financial or operational realities. They stall or just get dropped.
So it's a kind of reality check. A lot of these ambitious pilots, proofs of concept, they're just not making the jump to being genuinely productive systems, ending up, as Gartner kind of bluntly puts it, in the trash. Is there data backing this up? Are companies already feeling cautious?
Oh, absolutely. Gartner did a survey back in January 2025, over 3,400 enterprises. And get this, only 19% had made significant investments in agentic AI. Most, about 42%, were investing conservatively, and almost a third, 31%, were just waiting, watching from the sidelines. What's fascinating here is this caution was already there, before this big prediction. It highlights the uncertainty people already felt about the real value, and it kind of sets the stage for these potential cancellations if results don't show up fast.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like maybe some organizations jumped in a bit quick without fully getting a handle on the true costs, the integration headaches, or, well, the risks involved. Seems like a gamble. All right, stepping back from Gartner's own data for a second. What other trends are out there? What else validates this kind of warning?
There's quite a bit, actually. Even before agentic AI was a big buzzword, general AI projects already had pretty worrying failure rates. S&P Global found in early 2025 that 42% of companies had scrapped most of their AI projects. It was way up from 17% just the year before. And something like 46% of AI proofs of concept never even make it into production.
Wow. Okay, so if general AI projects are struggling that much, what does that mean for the really complex stuff, the agentic AI with these cutting-edge autonomous features? Are the odds stacked even higher?
Often, yes. And a big part of that is cost and complexity. They just escalate. Agentic AI is expensive, really expensive. It leans heavily on large language models, LLMs, right? Or complex machine learning pipelines. That needs serious computing power, so cloud costs go up. Then you add data integration, maybe new infrastructure. Gartner points out that companies consistently underestimate the cost of actually getting these things into production, making them reliable. Going from a controlled pilot to something robust across the enterprise, costs can just explode. Timelines, too. You've got constant model tuning, handling all the weird edge cases. It's easy to burn through a budget real fast.
Yeah.
And then the CFO starts asking hard questions about ROI. Well, people will plug.
Right. And I guess related to that is the value proposition. If it's not clear, I remember reading something, Fortune, I think, that said nearly 3/4 of AI projects don't deliver what they promised because they weren't aligned with the business needs in the first place. Tech first, business case second.
Exactly. Anushree Verma at Gartner said pretty much the same. Most agentic AI propositions lack significant value or ROI right now. The models just aren't quite there yet to consistently achieve complex business goals all on their own. And then you've got this whole agent washing thing. Market hype? Vendors are slapping the agentic AI label on tools that aren't truly autonomous. They're selling a dream.
Oh.
Gartner reckons out of thousands of vendors claiming agentic capabilities, maybe only about 130 actually have credible solutions.
Oh, they 130. Wow.
Yeah. So buyers are often getting sold something unrealistic, which, sets projects up for failure.
And then the risk piece. That seems critical. Autonomous decisions mean autonomous mistakes, potentially big ones. Compliance breaches, security holes, damaging the brand. How does that play into cancellations?
Gartner specifically called out inadequate risk controls as a key reason projects will get canceled. Remember that S&P survey? Security and privacy worries were the top roadblocks for AI generally. We're already seeing companies pause things like GPT-based agents because of data leaks or just unpredictable behavior. If you can't trust the AI to stay within the lines, shutting it down is the only safe option, even if it means writing off the investment.
Which seems to lead straight into technology maturity or lack thereof, and maybe talent gaps too. If the tech isn't quite ready or you don't have the people who really know how to manage it.
Precisely. Agentic AI is still, pretty cutting edge. Gartner analysts have said current models don't have the maturity or agency to autonomously achieve complex business goals or follow nuanced instructions over time. In the real world, these agents often struggle. They lose context, they can't handle unexpected things well, they still need humans jumping in, which kind of defeats the whole autonomous purpose. Plus, you need specialized skills, prompt engineering, ML ops. That talent is scarce and expensive. There was an NTT data study that even found employee resistance or just not enough training can derail these things too. People have to be able to use them effectively.
Okay, so summing up the case for Gartner's prediction. High expectations colliding with real-world hurdles. We've got rising failure stats even for simpler AI, fuzzy ROI, tons of hype, big costs, and underdeveloped risk management. It definitely paints a picture that aligns with Gartner's warning. But it can't be all doom and gloom, right? There have to be counterarguments. Where's the optimism? Where does it get interesting on the other side?
Right, and this is crucial. That 40% number, it's a forecast, not, set in stone. It's based on what we see now. It could be overly pessimistic. And ironically, Gartner putting out this warning might actually help prevent it. If companies and vendors take heed, improve project management, set realistic goals, it could become a kind of self-preventing prophecy. The failure rate might end up lower because of the warning itself.
That's a good point. And 2027, that feels like a long way off in AI time. Things change so fast. Couldn't the tech just get way better by then, solving a lot of these problems?
Absolutely. The pace of innovation is just incredible. We could see much more powerful, more efficient models, AI agents with better memory, better reasoning, better tools to control and monitor them. Costs might even decrease as algorithms get smarter and there's more competition among cloud providers. Think about early enterprise mobile apps. They were clunky, expensive at first. Then the tech matured and they became commonplace. Agentic AI could follow a similar path.
Okay, so the tech could catch up. But what about now? Are there any success stories already happening that push back against this negative outlook?
Yes, and these are really important to highlight. Look at Walmart. They deployed an AI engine for inventory, autonomously optimizing stock. The result, a 22% lift in e-commerce revenue. That's huge.
Wow, 22%.
Or JP Morgan's Quion platform. It uses AI to analyze legal documents autonomously.
Yeah.
Save 360,000 work hours a year, cut errors by 80%. These aren't getting canceled. They're delivering massive value. And their success often comes down to focus. They targeted well-defined problems where autonomy provides clear ROI or efficiency gains.
That's a strong counterpoint. And it's not just about the tech itself, right? The industry is learning. Best practices, governance, how's that changing?
People are definitely learning from the early bumps. Smart companies now demand clear KPIs up front. They tie AI projects directly to strategic business goals. That tackles the unclear value problem head-on. On cost, things like model optimization, better cloud cost tracking, phased investments that's becoming more standard practice. And for risk and governance, we're seeing AI ethics boards, model validation teams, sandboxing tools popping up, plus regulatory pressure like the EU AI Act. If you connect the dots, these emerging practices are like direct antidotes to the failure factors Gartner cited. As they become more widespread, you'd expect the failure rate to drop.
And didn't Gartner's own data show a lot of companies being cautious, investing conservatively, or waiting?
Yeah.
Couldn't that cautiousness actually prevent the high failure scenario? They're not all rushing in blindly.
It could, yeah. If fewer companies are making massive risky bets right now, there might simply be fewer large-scale projects to cancel later, or they can pivot smaller projects more easily if they run into trouble. Companies are learning from the pioneers, maybe waiting until the tech and the business cases are a bit more solid. So yeah, the challenges Gartner highlights are real, no doubt, but they are being seen and they are being addressed. The prediction might just be too bearish, considering how fast tech improves and how industries adapt. It's definitely not a given that 40% must fail.
Okay, let's try and make this really concrete. Can you walk us through some real-world examples? What does failure actually look like? And success?
Sure. For a failure example, think about a big financial services firm. They tried to build an AI trading agent to manage a portfolio autonomously, big investment, but they kind of skimped on setting clear risk limits, proper governance. The agent went rogue, made aggressive trades way outside the firm's risk tolerance, led to big losses.
Ouch.
Yeah, trust was shattered, project got canned. Clear case of weak governance, chasing autonomy without business alignment.
Okay, what about a different sector, not finance?
How about retail? A global retailer built a customer service AI agent. Looked great in the lab, handling scripted questions, but real customer interactions, much messier, more nuanced. The agent struggled. Retraining it for every possible scenario became way too expensive, too time-consuming. It spent about a year stuck in pilot mode getting mixed reviews, and then they just quietly shelved it. Classic example of the tech just not being mature enough for that specific, very open-ended use case. Expected ROI never showed up.
Got it. Those paint a clear picture of the pitfalls. Now, flip side, where is it working? Where are agentic AI projects thriving?
Manufacturing is a good area. Companies using autonomous agents for supply chain optimization. I know one automotive firm, they used an AI scheduling agent. It cut their lead times by 20%, cut inventory costs by millions.
Nice.
It worked because they tackled a very specific, data-heavy problem. They didn't just flip a switch. They let the agent earn trust with smaller wins first, then gave it more control.
And you mentioned banking earlier. The robo-advisors seem like a big win.
Definitely. AI-driven robo-advisors are taking off. They give personalized investment advice, digest tons of market data. Several banks have reported much higher customer engagement, more assets under management because of them. And again, notice the pattern. They were often introduced with human oversight, a hybrid model first. They targeted augmenting human advisors, not replacing them outright, and had really clear success metrics. So, the big takeaway here. Success really hinges on where and how you deploy agentic AI. Focus on clear problems, keep strong human oversight, roll it out iteratively. That seems to work. Trying to build some kind of general open-ended intelligence based on hype. That's where projects often stumble. This suggests Gartner's 40% number. While a useful warning probably won't apply uniformly, it'll vary a lot.
Okay, so let's pivot to the so what. If Gartner is right, or even directionally right, what's the real impact on your enterprise? For the business leaders listening.
Well, first, strategy and investment. A high failure rate. That's a major wake-up call for the C-suite. We'd likely see companies get much more cautious. Less AI-first hype, more measured steps. Probably means tougher business cases needed, much stricter risk assessments, maybe smaller initial project scopes, funding released in stages based on hitting milestones. You might even see resources shift back to basics, like getting the data infrastructure right first. The big challenge for leaders will be finding that balance. Invest enough so you don't get left behind, but don't overreact and pull back too far.
And operationally, if projects get canceled midstream.
Yeah, that's messy. You've got wasted effort, sunk costs. Teams might see productivity dip temporarily as they unwind things. If an AI was meant to optimize a process and gets pulled, operations might be less scrambling with half-finished changes. But the upside, maybe, is it forces companies to strengthen their backup plans, ensure human processes are still robust. And long-term, the lessons learned will clarify where autonomy really makes sense and where it doesn't.
What about the tech side? IT architecture, the CIO-CTO view.
IT leaders would definitely need to recalibrate their roadmaps. Maybe they'd favor more proven, smaller-scale AI solutions for a while. Adoption could shift towards back to basics. AI helping with specific tasks, augmenting humans rather than full autonomy, at least until the tech is more reliable. There'd be a bigger push for flexible, robust architectures that can handle AI properly when it is ready. And yeah, that vendor landscape shakeup we talked about, weak players would likely disappear, stronger platforms would dominate.
How does this ripple outwards? Industry dynamics, competition?
Well, a higher failure rate could actually slow down disruption in some industries, maybe preserve the status quo a bit longer than expected. But, and this is key, the companies that do succeed with agentic AI, they'll gain a massive competitive advantage. It could really widen the gap between the AI haves and have-nots. We might also see regulators get more involved, setting stricter rules for autonomous AI use.
And the people aspect, the workforce, the skills needed.
It's mixed. Short-term, maybe some relief for employees worried about being replaced by AI, robot takeover, postponed perhaps. But for the AI teams working on these projects, canceled projects could mean morale issues, maybe even layoffs. We'd likely see a shift in the skills companies look for. More demand for AI project managers, domain experts who can guide the AI, risk officers. Upskilling efforts would focus on teaching people to work alongside AI effectively. And expect growth in jobs like AI governance or AI auditor.
Who feels the pain most if this 40% prediction comes true? Is it specific types of companies?
Probably a few groups. Large enterprises. Ironically, They have more projects, more money at stake, but also maybe more cushion to absorb a failure. Highly regulated industries, finance, healthcare, they might cancel projects faster at the first sign of compliance risk. Less digitally mature companies could struggle more with mismanagement, leading to cancellations. And resource availability is huge. Well-funded firms with strong talent can often pivot or fix a struggling project. Others might just have to cut their losses. But overall, if Gartner's right about the scale, it would be a sobering but ultimately valuable learning period for everyone. The organizations that really internalize those lessons will come out stronger.
So, weighing all this, our take is that Gartner's prediction seems directionally right. Many projects will face headwinds, but that specific 40% figure, it depends heavily on context. It's more like a strong call to action for you, the listener, which really brings up the key question for your organization. Which future scenario are you actually preparing for?
Yeah, let's sketch out maybe three possibilities. First, the optimistic scenario. Let's say only 10–20% of projects fail. In this future, agentic AI matures fast, companies figure out how to use it wisely, and we see widespread success. Key breakthroughs happen. If you believe this is likely, the recommendation is clear. Accelerate adoption responsibly. Scale your successful pilots. Invest boldly, but smartly. Keep a close eye on governance, but don't get left behind.
Okay, then the middle ground. The realistic scenario. This is where Gartner's 40% number is roughly accurate. We'd see mixed results across the board. Some wins, yes, but lots of failures too. A kind of hype adjustment phase for the industry. Agentic AI gets integrated, but maybe more in supporting roles, augmenting humans, not full autonomy everywhere.
Right. In this scenario, the advice is more cautious. Adopt a portfolio approach. Treat these as experiments, some high risk, high reward. Demand clear ROI. Have strong governance. Know your kill switch criteria for failing projects. Build internal skills. Keep executives informed with realistic expectations. It's about prudent, iterative growth. And finally, the skeptical scenario. What if 60% or even more projects fail? Maybe the tech hits unexpected roadblocks, stagnates, or new regulations clamp down hard. We could see an AI winter specifically for agentic AI.
Okay, what's the play then?
Act very conservatively. Halt or significantly scale back high-risk agentic projects. Shift focus back to foundational AI, data quality, incremental improvements. Maybe engage with industry groups to help shape standards for the future. Keep your core AI talent, even if projects are paused, and make the ROI bar for any new agentic AI project extremely high. Basically, wait, watch, and strengthen your foundations.
The common thread, it seems, across all scenarios is needing that foresight and flexibility. You need to be ready to adapt. Developing plans for these different futures lets you adjust your strategy as things become clearer.
Exactly. So, to wrap up, Gartner's warning is definitely grounded in real challenges: costs, value, risk, tech maturity. These are not trivial hurdles. But success is possible. We see it already. It comes down to having a clear purpose, strong oversight, being adaptable. For the senior decision makers listening, the message is pretty clear.
Right. So, key takeaways for you. 1. Focus on business value first, always. No chasing shiny objects. Define the problem. Define the ROI. 2. Start small, learn, scale, or fail fast. Use pilots, measure everything, be ready to pull the plug if it's not working, scale successes carefully. 3. Invest in risk management and governance. Build this in from day one. You need guardrails, you need trust. 4. Build cross-functional teams. AI isn't just IT. Bring in business experts, domain specialists, and train your wider workforce to work with AI, not just fear it. 5. Be picky with vendors. Remember that agent washing. Do your homework. Gartner said only 130 credible vendors. Choose partners wisely. And finally, 6, stay agile. Use scenario planning. Revisit your AI strategy often. Use scenarios like we discussed to be ready to pivot as the landscape shifts.
Well put. Think of it like this. The road to truly autonomous AI, it definitely has some bumps, some serious potholes. Maybe 40% of the vehicles trying to navigate it will crash or break down. But with careful driving, a good map, meaning clear strategy and governance, your enterprise absolutely can reach its destination safely and profitably.
Thank you for joining the podcast, and see you soon.